ring?
I feel like it'll be a little entertaining. I don't know how long he's gonna last in with these big shots coming at him, but hey, we only time will tell. You know, I'm not here to hype that shit. Not even my business. That's somebody else fish to fry.
Yeah.
You know, I got my own fish to fry.
Terence Crawford is not going to do anything to Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford, yes, he's good. He's a 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed, but he couldn't even hurt Majumov.
That they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills.
Jermell Charlo explains why he believes Canelo Alvarez will beat Terence Crawford. For him, the biggest question is how long Crawford can take Canelo's heavy shots. Charlo points out that Crawford is already moving up in weight just to face Canelo, which makes things even harder. He says the fight will depend on how Crawford handles Canelo's strength and pressure as the rounds go on. Analysts add that Crawford could not seriously hurt Majumov, and he is nowhere near Canelo's level. While Crawford dominated Errol Spence, this challenge is on a different scale. Canelo is younger, more active, and one of the best fighters of this era, which makes him a much tougher test for Bud.
10-0. They never got in the ring with anything like a Terence Crawford. They never got in the ring with a former champion, with an elite fighter. And he couldn't hurt. He couldn't hurt Majumov. Canelo Alvarez is no Errol Spence, ladies and gentlemen. I know that some of y'all are hyped because what Terence Crawford did an incredible performance and an incredible job versus Errol the True Spence that was supposed to be the big fish, and he turned the big fish into tuna fish on your outline, on your local supermarket. But Canelo Alvarez is not Errol Spence, my brothers. Canelo Alvarez is not Amir Khan. Canelo Alvarez is not Kell Brook. Canelo Alvarez is not Gamboa. Canelo Alvarez is not Felix Diaz. Canelo Alvarez is not Sean Porter. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys, ladies and gentlemen. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys. Canelo Alvarez is not the Mean Machine. Canelo Alvarez is Canelo Alvarez, regarded as one of the greats. And not just the Mexican greats. I don't like how y'all try to put it. Oh no, he's the best Mexican, because you don't want to say that he's one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Has carried the sport of boxing on his shoulder. And let me say it like this: leading up to the fight, Canelo Alvarez is more active than Terence Crawford. Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Terence Crawford. He's younger than Terence Crawford. He's more active than Terence Crawford. His resume is better than Terence Crawford. The people that he's fought is better than Terence Crawford. He's fought every damn style. He's fought the best Russians at the time with Kovalev. He fought the best Asian in Kazakhstan and Triple G.
Kell Brook also favors Canelo in this matchup, saying he is nothing like anyone Crawford has faced before. Brook admits Crawford's win over Spence was incredible, but insists that it does not prepare him for what Canelo brings. He highlights Canelo's strength, experience, and control at higher weight classes, pointing out that these advantages separate him from fighters like Spence. In Brook's eyes, Crawford has never shared the ring with someone who combines power, skill, and ring intelligence the way Canelo does. That's why he sees this as one of the most difficult nights of Crawford's career.
You've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's gonna have to, move up, and I know when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting a middleweight, a mediocre world champion's okay, but when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but Crawford's very, very, very good.
You think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring, but he's very much a good mover as well. Do you feel like he's still got the legs to be maybe outmoving Canelo if he needs to?
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more. He kind of sets his feet, and he's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather.
Many analysts believe size could be Crawford's biggest problem. Moving up nearly 3 weight classes with limited time at 154 may leave him unable to hurt Canelo. They compare it to Floyd Mayweather, who fought multiple elite names before taking on Canelo, while Crawford only has Madrimov at that level. Gabe Rosado adds that when fighters are used to opponents with real power at higher weights, shots from smaller men don't carry the same danger. This is why many question whether Crawford will be able to handle Canelo's physical strength.
I think that Crawford may be too small to really impact and hurt Canelo Alvarez. He's moving up pretty much 3 weight classes, which is exactly what I said. I'm not counting 154. He had 1 fight, bro. He had 1 fight. Floyd Mayweather got more fights at 54 than Terence Crawford. Boop. Because Crawford, he fought Madrimov. Floyd fought De La Hoya, Cotto, and then he fought Canelo at 152. So you had an aging Floyd who fought more times at the higher weight class, and Bud looks to be a bigger dude than Floyd Mayweather, right? So when Floyd was 37, he moved to 52 and fought a much bigger Canelo. Crawford's 37, he fighting Madrimov with 11 fights. Not the same. It's not. I don't care what y'all talking about. The Bud Buddy's just going to have to be mad at me because truth is truth. So that's a valid question. And again, I'll be glad when this fight's over. Put it that way. I don't care who wins. May the best man win. I hope it's a double knockout. I already told y'all. Just because I'm just over it, and I want to get back to some of the other fights. There's other fights that are interesting, and they make more sense. Like Brian Norman, Devin Haney. I'm interested in Yard versus Benavidez, etc. There's some fights we're hearing about, blah, blah, blah. So I'll be glad when this is over, to be 100% honest. There's more fights that actually fans have been requesting that matter, blah, blah, blah. But Rosado, he brought up a lot of good points. He was saying Crawford, he thinks he's too small, and he even gave his own personal experience. He said, I'm 180, 190 solid, and when I fight guys that are welterweights, even if they crack and they're known for being menacing, murderous punchers at the lower weight classes, 140, 147, them moving up, it feel like pillows when they fight me. When I get hit with their punches, it feel like pillows because I'm used to getting hit by triple. Right? He used to Triple G work. He used to Lemieux work. So to me, this is kind of common sense, but common sense ain't that common, right?
Experts keep stressing one key question: can Crawford take Canelo's punches? Canelo has slowed down or stopped many great opponents with his power. Some critics say he looks flat-footed and easier to deal with, but others argue that this is misleading. His style is built on balance, timing, and precision. By planting his feet, he makes sure every punch has maximum force. For Crawford, this means avoiding shots will not be enough. Canelo is patient and will wait for his chances. The real test will be whether Crawford can keep his composure when those punches start landing. Many believe the fight won't come down to who lands more, but whether Crawford's chin and body can take the punishment.
Is Crawford going to be able to take Canelo's punches? And is Canelo going to be skilled enough to not keep on getting banged up by Crawford and his craftiness? It's the battle of two greats, you know what I mean? So I believe that Canelo, you really see him, when you see him fight, he almost got a one-way of style, and it works for him. He likes to get in there and bang you up. He likes to throw hard punches. He likes to break you down. He likes to hit you everywhere. You're gonna hit in your body, your arms, the forehead, the ear, the neck. Wherever he can land a good one, he's gonna land it, and that usually breaks him down. So with some fighters, I see is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills. He does everything almost perfect. But yeah, he's flat-footed, but you got to realize that he also has hell of a head movement and body movement. He understands, and he's perfected that rolling with the punch thing.
Crawford's performance against Errol Spence is remembered as one of the greatest in recent history. He showed speed, timing, defense, and finishing ability, breaking down a fighter once seen as the best welterweight in the world. That night, he cemented his legacy as one of the best of this generation. Now, his camp insists he looks even sharper. They say his speed is still there, his reflexes are intact, and his conditioning is better than ever. Even at his age, he seems more focused and refined. Those close to him believe he is in the best shape of his career, and that confidence might be what he needs against a dangerous opponent like Canelo.
Sharper than ever, more dangerous than ever, and most importantly, he looks like the greatest version of himself. Now, can we actually believe this? Can Terence Crawford at nearly 39 years old, with him being inactive, with him being heavier than ever, is it possible that the man will actually look better than ever? Now, let's think about it, ladies and gentlemen. When you're talking about someone like Terence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez, you're talking about the elite of the elite. And if I'm going to be honest, Terence Crawford, when he fought Errol Spence, in my opinion, in all my years of watching combat sports, I'm a MMA guy turned into boxing. But I have never, ever, ever in my life watched an elite championship fight and had my jaw absolutely drop to the floor with the greatness that I witnessed. And that is the only way to describe what Terence Crawford did versus Errol Spence. In my opinion, that was the greatest performance in our lifetime. I mean, I can't go back to the old days. I'm not a historian. But as far as I'm concerned, that was the greatest performance I have ever seen in my life. And especially to who he did it to, Errol Spence. Dangerous southpaw. At the time, I believe he was pound for pound number 3. And Terence Crawford absolutely annihilated him.
Former middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik shared his take on how Crawford could beat Canelo. He says the key is in the early rounds. Crawford cannot let Canelo set the pace. Instead, he must use footwork, combinations, and ring IQ to make Canelo work harder than usual. Pavlik explains that if Crawford can force Canelo to throw more, move more, and chase the fight, it will drain his energy. Canelo has shown signs of slowing down in long fights, and Pavlik believes that is where Crawford's chance comes. By making the early rounds uncomfortable, Crawford could reduce Canelo's power late and create an opportunity to win on points or even force a late stoppage.
Stay in Canelo's ass a little early on, put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds, because when Canelo has to fight, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol. We've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. You know, when Canelo could control the fight and the ring generalship, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance-wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in his ass a little bit on, the early rounds and make him have to play catch-up in rounds 3, 4, 5. And then by round 7, that's where, he could really step it up.
Dan Raphael offered another important perspective. He pointed out that Canelo has already fought and adapted to opponents moving up from lighter divisions, like Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Miguel Cotto. He handled their speed and timing, proving he could deal with smaller fighters. Crawford, on the other hand, has not faced a naturally bigger fighter like Canelo. While Bud has dominated across divisions, facing someone who is truly comfortable at higher weights is a different challenge. Raphael believes this experience gap at the top level could give Canelo the edge over Crawford.
Dan Raphael kind of made a great point when talking about sizes, because he said if you look at them two together now, they look the same size. Mm-hmm. He said people have got the idea of the size thing wrong. It's not looking at them as a physical package. It's who has absorbed the bigger shots in the weight division. So, and it was good. It was a very good point. He was like, Canelo has been hit by light heavyweights and super middleweights for the best part of a decade.
Basically.
He's so used to taking those shots. Whereas Crawford hasn't. Crawford's been hit by 140 guys and 147 guys for the best part of a decade.
Yeah.
What's Crawford going to be like? So basically, he's trying to say, Canelo could easily absorb Crawford shots. Can Crawford easily absorb Canelo's punches?
If you're taking shots from Triple G, Sergey Kovalev, Dmitry Bivol, and you're staying on your feet, not getting hurt,
Not even getting wobbled.
Not even getting wobbled, just literally shaking it off.
Yeah.
You can take Terence Crawford shots.
100%.
Right.
Mikey Garcia did not hold back in his prediction. He believes Canelo can seriously hurt Crawford. Garcia says that while Crawford's defense is excellent, it may not be enough against Canelo's raw power. He points to Canelo's body shots as a major weapon, explaining that his hooks to the ribs and uppercuts inside wear opponents down. Garcia admits Crawford is a brilliant technician, but argues that skill can only do so much against a bigger puncher. In his view, once Canelo lands clean, the momentum of the fight could flip instantly. He sees this matchup as extremely dangerous for Crawford, with size and power being the biggest concerns.
What happens when he takes a shot from Canelo? One of those uppercuts from Munguia or those...
He could get dropped, or he feels it enough to be like, fuck this, I'm boxing. And goes on the bicycle and turns southpaw for the rest of the night. And I wouldn't blame him either. Fuck it, you're gonna go in there and collect the fucking paycheck at that point.
Right.
You're not gonna go get hurt.
Right.
What good is it to get fucking 20, 30 million if you are fucking hurt physically, end up in the hospital and hurt just physically, life-changing, you don't want that shit.
But you think Canelo can hurt him? It could be life-changing?
Good, he's that big, fool. One punch could fucking knock him out bad enough to hurt his eye socket or detached retina. You never fucking know.
Right.
So no one wants that shit.
Crawford said if he beats him, he's in the top 3 GOATs of all time.
Oh, for sure. If Crawford beats Canelo, then for sure, give him all the fucking props in the world, bro. And he actually does have a chance. It's not like he doesn't have a chance. Don't be too surprised if he fucking pulls it off in the decision.
Antonio Tarver, however, takes a more positive view for Crawford. He says Crawford's biggest strength is his mindset. Crawford is known to mentally prepare and visualize his fights long before he enters the ring. Tarver believes this ability to adapt and adjust has been the foundation of his career. He points out that Crawford has never relied only on physical advantages, but instead on intelligence and skill. In his eyes, this fight will not just be about weight classes, but about who executes better. If Crawford sticks to his game plan and uses his versatility, Tarver believes he has the ability to neutralize Canelo's physical advantages and make it a very competitive fight.
Terence gotta be Terence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terence Crawford. Because weight ain't going to make the difference. It ain't going to be the weight. It's going to be the skill set.